California, CATL. It's your boy Chili Bo Pippin. Holla at us cool people, where the cool people at? So cool, yeah. And where my ladies? Come on and bounce with me. Come on and bounce with me. Come on and bounce. And all my fellas, what up fellas? Y'all just chill. Y'all just chill. You know I'm so fresh. Know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. I'm so C-double-O, light up your L. This beat is so swell like the homie Rozelle. But no, this ain't no beatbox, we call it street rock. They say the homie Chill Will got the heat locked. Young Cali, come clap for daddy. So savvy with the patty, you can ask the family. Yeah, I'm young, rich, and dangerous. Interest rates fluctuate with my paper chase. Who the boss? I'm the boss, I'll be late today. I'ma drink, and get drunk today. Cause I'm cool in my polo, cool in the Lolo, cool with the fofo, cool with the. You know I'm so fresh, know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. Bouncing in my peanut butter beans, cooling through the cone zone, blowing in the wind. Roll around town, sitting on chromosomes. Rocks like ice cream, we just call them cold stones. I'm so grimy and I stay fresh. The chicks call me Chill, got it tatted on my chest. Stunner so sick, I can see through the mist. And I'm cool with the bullies, so who on a trip? Yeah, it's Chill Weezy, hip hop squeegee. I make it look easy, A, B, C, D. Cause I'm cool in my polo, cool in the Lolo, cool with the fofo, cool with the. You know I'm so fresh, know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. Now get it rockin' and get it rockin'. Leave it to Mr. Peanut Butter to get it poppin'. Now get it rockin', now get it rockin'. Leave it to Mr. Peanut Butter to get it poppin'. Fifth of Patron, kiss you past my nose. Shake it fast, drop it slow, get you snapping that neck. Yeah, I can make you famous, the king of the West. From CA to GA, so chillin', both fresh. The police right behind me, they wanna catch me slippin', but I's just chillin', I'm too cool for prison. Yeah, and keep it rockin', yeah, and keep it poppin'. You know I'm so fresh, know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We back.
We back. Today's going to be a pretty mellow show. We had a lot happen this last month. And so, yeah, we're going to be taking it chill tonight, easing back into things. It's been 3 weeks, I think, since we've done a show.
I was going to say at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It might have been like a month.
It might have been a month. But we had some fires come through and we had to evacuate and several other things happening at the same time. But yeah, I'm gonna watch some videos, get things going.
Wahkohtowin. All things are related. This is the foundation of Cree traditional law and is based on the Cree understanding of natural law. The Cree people have always had their own justice system and laws. Developed over thousands of years and passed down orally through ceremony, stories, and song, these laws are to be followed by everyone in a family, community, or society. The language of a people is the vehicle to express these laws. And today, many of our people do not understand Cree law and also feel disconnected from Canadian law. We turn to Cree elders to discuss natural law and its role of the past and present. We have approached our elders and made appropriate offerings as part of Cree protocol to receive their gift of knowledge.
Jokan maja Wahkohtowin sta puyan me kaya me sta heki kai ta putami. Moi po ke me ko na me pe no ismo temaga. Maga ka kyo ki kai igis wingati igis Wahkohtowin kuya. Moi ki ano ka ki Wahkohtowin we o pe Wahkohtowin kuya. E go maski moi chemito sak maskosia asini ka kyo ki kai e Wahkohtowin. I guess one of the things I was going to say in English here is that when we talk about Wahkohtowin, is that we're related. The Creator had created this universe and everything, and that universe relates to us, Wahkumga. We don't relate to it, they relate to us. And as we are on this earth, we are related to everything that's in the creation, the trees, everything, the grass, the rock, everything. It's part of the earth, just like we are. The earth provides for us. Today we call her Mother Earth. She provides everything for us. And we lift off that. But ever since the European people come and live with us, things have started to change drastically.
Ke ko mom stekom sum tap chita in te ko moniao. Ke ko seni me na tan sa ita pat sato. When they make treaties, nihio ke mamsio kat pichit. Ke mamsio ko mawate ko. Mas negan gata ko na ko. Stege tusi ta ko mawate ko piksko no gata ko na. We exist me go set muniao. Go kiano am tani chigan pogo. Just that spirit we have, that's the spirit is going to go up there. Kita to ini gano this with there. Pia gono ksigai kitim sunano. With there. Ya we are sure on piek he oche. Stegi we give me go so ni yo he goche. Tege manachi ta ko maskiuma.
Wahkohtowin is a Cree name for the rules that govern the relationship of one thing to another. The guidelines ensure all people respect one another and the other living things on this earth. When people come to live together in peace and harmony, it is called Wahkohtowin. Healthy relationships are the result of following the intent of Wahkohtowin and Wahkohtowin.
Taskutsa yagaya. Umitakaya. Awiri kutakutakawayak. Kapia stat. Waskay kan nikutakapi wicham sukama witaskion wanato ki temat. Magami chit mustahimay chige magan mino kumuma. mui sagito ga iseno kanot. Uskaya gi wataks na pakyo gi ram. Mi wichiton mui mpai. Samsta iseno inutun totsi sotas ke kan. Pero ni mama mui apchita wi taskio. Nio itihtaman muy ram trip mpai ram mai wichiton sagiton. Kisno toskaim no ke hakwix no no ke program ka sagito ya katam skutato ya tatuis ka pato igual mo vitaskio magis no exto tena no exi wista oxet totam winagati to igual mam ni exis ngais no apaten kauga ko kui sakchichinto traisino is hios kam ba sagito no vitaskio no kaksknoa pogero skais ro mua na norden to mua nan to kis mai to tato wista is sknoa package mami vat skais pai ka o ka kuya ya kiwi to tame sagi to na tam tato no itaskion Yeux guys.
When the newcomers come to our land, they shook hands. Okay, we agree to live with you. We touch you. That's that word. I come to live with you in peace, harmony. They shook hands. They had an agreement. They left the pipe, made the treaty. After that agreement was done, they shook hands. He went his way. Indians stayed on the land. He went over there and he started writing laws. Started to use that paper to make everything his way.
Our understanding of living together in harmony is to have mutual respect, obligation, and responsibility to foster and maintain healthy relationships. Our laws affect our interaction and interconnectedness with all things. Canadian legislation was put on paper to open the land for a growing population. Ceremony, mobility, and economic growth were restricted. In an effort to assimilate our people into a new way of life, children were forced into church and government-run residential schools. The laws written on paper were put above Cree natural law.
The laws that the governments have established do not correlate with what we understand our responsibility, obligations are to our Creator and our families. Because we didn't have the opportunity to teach our children these values that we talk about, these concepts, it was stopped. It was blocked. It was manipulated. It was turned into something. Our people were demonized by the churches, by the government, by saying that our elders were not important, that our teachings were not valued, are important, our ways were not important. That's what created this whole mess today, and it teaches a person to be more and more bitter and spiteful and cynical, about society and about life. Well, what's the use if your children are taken away? You get angry, blame society, the system, the social workers and the justice workers. They're all enemies. Yeah. So that mentality of that person is really becoming an illness because they don't have no backup. They don't have nowhere to go. They get very angry. So what do? I give up. All must go get drunk. Break the law. It's a vicious cycle, and the way that they're dealing with it, it doesn't work. For us anyway, I don't see it.
The elders discuss the consequences of not following our natural laws. The elders see changes in the youth.
Mstegi Koani tänään on hiawe man togis me ko tesa. Tisos ko ito tamak min matson no. Mina pikskon no. Tapoy hai man me watch. Kakeo ko yoskay yawanay kotsk. Kikoy. Muata nanto itaman mo niya og uyake ko ikipitat. Matsko matohom. Umato kaganawa patak. Kapio ichik skolo tsatsipo tay tapch. Öktohtana kiko johtuna mo kai mi asni gasko kiko nuten ton masin payo. Egotsin katti suoskavito takkiko vista tes pitch. Muja ei miittama kam suona chat kai sinu ha tiktohtuna. Muitas kokajas muiksut pisks kun hamagio kitte. Kangi piaska piho ja varum siis. Iki peräkiskum goja. Tanssit tisoskavito tama matsunan. Minä tans tisos tisipikskua tisamanatia kai sinu. Apo munos pakungaunan iganti takam ksia kite na waimina munos pakungaunan. Ja kominiki uksiki pisamanatia tatskuja kajas kite kun hän kikoja.
Too many people playing video games with no care in their hearts, John Bob. What do you think about that? You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Honestly, I like to play video games. I grew up in the West, so I mean, I like everything about our culture, at least a lot of things about our culture. But I mean, there's a lot of truth there. You'd be an idiot to deny it. It's not normal that we're taught to. We have a lot of simulators. Those video games are now simulators. It's not like when we were kids playing Mario or playing Metroid. I mean, they're literally simulating war ops like Ghost Con and all that stuff. It's crazy if you ask me.
Yep. I mean, it's okay if you play video games because you have care in your heart, John Bob.
I don't know. I really
know the
feel
difference.
like I do, but at the same time, that stuff can desensitize people. I mean, you get 1 million people to play those games, even if 99% of them are good people. If you turn an extra 5% of that 99% violent with the video games, and you do that with 10 different things, pretty soon you have a pretty major percentage of people that are becoming morally corrupt by the brainwashing. I mean, it's a thing.
Could it also be pacifying some sort of violence, bread and circuit style? Keeping us distracted from overthrowing the government.
Or like a fake outlet. For
Yeah,
that sort of...
because we all have these innate, like carnal kind of like not aggressions, but we have certain things within us that we need to blow off steam sometimes as humans. So maybe they give us video games to keep us from. Yeah, I mean, that's why we have radios in our cars. If we were sitting in traffic all day, with thinking to ourselves, we'd be fed up. We'd overthrow the government immediately. Everyone would. But no, since we have little tunes to sing along to, we aren't thinking about how shitty the situation is. We're sitting in traffic waiting to get to work, to pay for the car that they need to get to work, and all the clothes and all the garbage. That's all a part of being a tax slave. If we didn't have radios or music, something there to keep our minds off it. I mean, try commuting without your stereo or without listening to music or anything. You'll go full meditation mode after a while. You'll be deep in thought. They don't want us deep in thought.
Well, I think also like it depends on the context, right? So if you throw video games at kids who are coming or they're being raised in a culture that already has this sort of spite and this sort of I forget how he described it, but just it's a culture of they're defeated, really. They're, think about the circumstances of these natives, think about what the government has done to them, and think about, the alcohol and drug problems. It's just, looking at one thing like video games, in a Western culture or applied to us in our childhood, leads to a different outcome or influences differently than, let's say, these, native kids who are living in really shitty conditions, who have alcoholic parents, who have this sort of like intergenerational, not spite. What's the word I'm thinking of? Like this, like they're bitter. They're bitter for, not like they don't have reason
For
to
no
be.
real, yes, no super valid, clear reason.
Well, I mean, this situation is rough, but then again, it's like you were saying, it's like video games being one of those outlets, right? Those fake sort of, you're able to get out that energy rather than actually putting that energy towards changing the world and changing the circumstances of their communities and their culture, right? Like, so yeah, it
You guys
depends.
You guys touched on so many things. I'd be bitter too, and honestly, they did get a raw deal, but what they're lacking now is money, which they didn't need before. They didn't need the money at all when they had everything. It's like when I fly to the Philippines, everybody's broke and people are 10 times as happy because they're not as dependent on material possessions. And yet they've created a society here where you need like these possessions to like survive. Like you brought it up earlier, the clothing, and I was really shocked when you touched on clothing. I mean, it literally deprives us of one of our food sources and stops us from using our organ the way it has developed throughout billions or hundreds of thousands or however, you know what I mean? However long it took for us to develop and become the way we are, we're designed to absorb sunlight. It's one of our food sources. And we have literally been forced by laws to buy these material assets, clothes that are completely unnecessary. And the only time it is truly necessary is when we are in climates we're not even designed to live in, and it's too cold and we'll freeze to death. If you need clothing, you are not supposed to be in that climate or that atmosphere. That's not your natural habitat, you know.
Or there will be some compromise to the well-being of the human, of the body, right? There'll be some sort of, we're able to survive, we're able to push it, we're able to get by eating meat if we need to, but there's going to be repercussions, whether it's health or just health, not getting enough sun, like you're saying, wearing clothes. But
So clearly we were given the ability to eat meat for survival purposes in different environments, extreme environments that weren't the most hospitable places for humans. Therefore, there's a far lower amount of people in those areas having to be there. Clearly those people, us as humans were able to eat animals for those circumstances. But when you're in the cornucopia of the world, the middle section where it's all green, we can grow all kinds of food. And these guys, I just keep hearing these dudes talk about hunting, and I'm just like, dude, how is that a logical answer to 4 billion people eating?
Which
dudes? Carnists. Carnists in general. Just all day, every day, I see people, hunting. I should be able to go hunt and take food for my family. And it's like, dude, the first 3,000 guys that go out into the forest are going to kill all the animals, and they're all going to be gone. So as long as you're taking from nature, you're taking a number down, and that number will eventually get to 0. And so, how does that make sense in your animist? This animist fantasy you have where you're allowed to take animals from the nature, you're ticking a number down. There's only so many of them there, no matter how you look at it, that's true. So if everyone you convince thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people to go out into the forest and live off of the animals, they're going to be gone immediately because of your guys' psychotic behavior.
Versus like how easy it is to grow. Versus like how easy it is to grow like sweet potatoes. Like we're just looking at like how easy
They grow
it is
themselves.
Yeah. How plants regenerate. You can take clippings of plants and keep them going. And it's just like, I was just looking to, I had these sweet potatoes, they went off and they started sprouting like crazy. I'm like, man, I wonder if I can grow these. And it's like each little place, there's these whole stalks that grew off, and each little place where the stalk splits off, you can take a piece of that and start a new sweet potato plant that will produce sweet potatoes. And I was looking at YouTube videos and just, there's people, they can produce, what was it, like tens, if not hundreds of pounds of sweet potatoes
off of one
just
potato.
one. Yeah. So just like that just got me thinking, like, again, it's just like we try and reproduce that with factory farming of animals, right? But look at the consequences and the cost and the disease and the waste and all of that versus plants. You don't have to kill them in order to necessary, you can you can extend their life and benefit of from their fruits. But it's interesting because it's like such a contrast when people talk about like you were saying, like getting back to nature and animism and connection with nature having to do means we have to be killing animals. It's like, no, if you're truly connected with nature, you should be able to see these options. You should be able to see, okay, the way we can propagate and multiply plants to eat versus what it takes to do that to the animals. Or like you're saying, going out and everyone just hunting them, like it's not very sustainable. I mean, maybe like, sure, like there's areas where what they say, like, oh, they need to hunt wild boars and like control the populations through hunting, but that's no expand that and multiply that across the entire population needing to do that for food. There's not enough land, and there's not enough animals.
And what do we know? What did we know in elementary school about Native Americans? That they didn't take more than they needed. Like that was like one of the few things I know about them spiritually that I knew growing up is, oh, they didn't waste animals and stuff like that. And there's all this evidence that, these natives, did somewhat maintain the animals that were in the wild. There's some stuff it's a different subject, but they didn't just go out and kill everything, like the white man would do if all of a sudden, all these dorks with their overlanding trucks go out into the freaking forest and start shooting every animal they see because they got to get all the food, and then they're shooting at each other, and it's all this psychopathic, satanic behavior.
It's high risk too. It's
very high risk. Holy
risk.
Shit.
I mean,
to survive.
Not even just looking at it objectively, like what, going out into an open space where there may be other humans that, there's hunting accidents all the time too. And we're not even talking about it as, being afraid of guns necessarily, but it is what it is. They're a tool that involves, it's a higher risk tool versus farming. Yes, there's farming equipment that could kill you as well, but look at how much you're getting out of, someone riding a tractor down a field versus people having to go out and hunt. I mean, there's so much more that can go wrong. There's so much more danger and the amount of caloric return you get putting out that effort and energy.
And then if you're doing a garden in your backyard where you aren't even using like big machinery, it becomes even less.
Exactly. It's scale dependent too. So
cleaning your environment.
Possibilities are kind of endless.
Yeah. So these animist guys, these carnist guys that are trying to cherry pick our ancestors' situation, and it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Alex knew wild boars are an issue because livestock farmers killed off all the natural predators, the cows. Well, and the wild boars are here because they brought them here for food. They aren't naturally supposed to be here. Garland Farms, these are carnist problems. Garland Farms in our debate tried to use wild boars against me, and I was like, bro, this is something animal ag brought to this hemisphere. These guys wouldn't
ag being the solution to the problem. How does that make any sense?
These carnists, like they don't have, this subject is not in their heart like it is ours. So they have not dived as deep as we have gone into these arguments and really found, you know, the truth behind all this stuff, because it's all we do all day is debunk these fools. Like that, none of them have anything good to say. Yeah, so yes, wild boars are also an issue because livestock farmers killed off all the natural predators. Their cows are shit face, even problems with wild boar, deer, carnists. Yeah, of course, for sure. And it's carnist farming practices, all the crop deaths, all that stuff. The overwhelming majority of the crop deaths are a result of carnist farming practices and carnist farmers not caring, really, only caring about the dollar, not caring about any of the sentient beings that may be in their field. These carnists try and throw this stuff in our faces when we have veganic solutions to these problems, and it's very funny. It's very, very funny.
So I gotta ask, you bring up crop deaths, right? Now, is the crop death thing really as big as they say? Because I hear that these
No, of
combines
course not.
are literally a foot over the ground and that they're not hitting anything. And I know myself, I don't have a huge farm, but I have my garden. And when we're planting stuff, we're not killing anything. And I have my trees that I grow, and I spray stuff that acts as like a repellent, not stuff to kill stuff, just stuff to drive stuff away so I don't have things eating my fruit. So I mean, I pretty much have no killing on my farm. And I'm
No,
really thinking that yep.
the whole Ted Nugent, oh, they're gonna kill every squirrel and every bird and everything. It's complete nonsense. Imagine being at a farm where they're out there, all these guys with guns shooting all the animals. Like, it doesn't make any
You
sense.
want to get blood and guts all over the all over the product, all over the crops. But like really though, it's there are some crop deaths, and we looked into the data, and the few studies we have erring on the side of plant agriculture causing the most harm, the numbers we have, the highest numbers of crop deaths, it still is nothing. It's like it's nothing compared to animal ag. The billions of animals that are killed, and that's like not even once you take into account sea life on
7 trillion fish.
It gets up into the trillions, I believe, but it's not even comparable. So, and like Jeffrey was saying, like you were saying with your gardening, you care, right? So there are options, there are ways to farm without killing as little as possible. From what I've looked into, most of the deaths happen during the harvesting, like the harvesting of grains and stuff. And then I've seen some videos that a lot of carnists use of like these grain facilities. They're like, I forget what exactly is happening, but these birds were diving in to try and eat the grain, and they were getting caught up in these machines. But it was somewhere like in remote Eastern Europe though. So again, it's like, okay, there's some parts of the world where their plant agriculture is a lot more detrimental to the wildlife, but that's not really, when we're looking at numbers wise and what's the majority of the way it's happening. It's not, they have in the West, they have grates so the birds don't fly in. You know what I'm saying? Like I've looked into it and looked into the comments, and it's again, so it depends regionally also, and different countries do things differently, but it's absolutely ridiculous to use crop deaths to justify animal agriculture, and it is absolutely overblown as far as like numbers wise.
Yeah, and you got modern stuff coming out. They have like these little laser machines that like scare birds away and scare animals.
Non-lethal deterrent.
But there are two big studies on crop deaths. One that was in Argentina and Chile, I think, and they found that farming, doing all the stuff to make a farm displaces a lot of animals. And then in some circumstances, it actually helps out the local population because it gives them more of a hiding place and it gives them food. And you know, the carnists are saying that it's far less violent. There are non-till ways of doing things. There's even now there's hydroponic indoor, which I know it's not very good for electricity, but there are a lot of ways to get around and lower the amount of crop deaths. But like putting up fences, you know, like simple things that people have done for millions of years, and maybe not millions, but farming, you know, like simple things to keep rodents and animals out. And then like if you really like screw up the local animal habitat, you're going to have major problems on your hand. That's why they had the locust infestations and all kinds of stuff like that, because they're trying to like mess with regions, you know, like the animals and stuff. So you know, most farmers will go out of their way not to kill animals unless they're psychos, you know, and there's plenty of psycho people out there and psycho farmers. So there's no crop deaths. It's not nearly as bad as what Ted Nugent says or Garland Farm says. But you know, like we've been in farm areas. There's no animals anywhere in a lot of these farm areas. They've moved out 100 years ago when everybody came and started doing this stuff. Or, you know, like there's minor stuff around. There's like squirrels and things like that, which they get pushed out to the edges, if anything, or they have a food source year round. So a lot of this crop death stuff is really, really goofy. Goofy.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Where's this video?
So you brought up hydroponics. Look at that. I can fit over 200 plants there. 200 plants.
He hates
in a
UVG,
4-foot area.
so be careful. Can I DM you his phone?
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, John Bob.
You brought up hydroponics. I could fit 200 plants on that machine. 200 plants in a 4-foot area.
Does it go up in the air, little tower?
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to talk like energy efficiency, I mean, look at this. It's homemade. Costs like $200
sure.
bucks.
Those are dope.
You know, I mean, you can't miss. You know,
the other best way of growing a shitload of potatoes or sweet potatoes or anything like that is you get, especially if you don't have a yard, you get a 55-gallon barrel and you layer it dirt and potato, dirt, potato, dirt, potato, dirt, potato, and as the season changes, you start taking off the potatoes off the tops and the ones below them start growing. So you have like potatoes for like 3 months out of one 55-gallon barrel that you could spend like no money on, really. You just need a couple old potatoes and you could make yourself, you know, like 60 something pounds of potatoes. I don't know exactly how many of these numbers are. I'm kind of just pulling numbers out of my ass, but you can make all this food for no money, no killing any animals, you know, in like, using recycled stuff. These people that try and say that veganism is expensive, you know, it's pretty funny. But anyway, this was a funny video I saw over the weekend. Richard, I guess just like cold called some guy.
Richard,
aka Vegan Gains.
We're not physically capable of it. It's
Hey VG, you said if I donate $20, you would call my friend and ambush him with a vegan debate. He hates UVG, so be careful. Can I DM you his phone number? My Discord is s.f.sorrow.
Send me a message on my Instagram. That'd be the easiest way. So I'll call him when you DM me. Thanks for the donation. Go vegan or die. Okay, let me
I am retarded dumb bitch. I suck Hamas's dick dry. I spread propaganda so I can have daddy Hamas's
Thanks,
cock.
Richard.
I am dumb bitch. If you agree, put a 1 in the chat that I am dumb bitch. I have blue.
because food that we could be feeding directly to humans gets fed to animals. Yeah.
Jumped ahead too
My
far.
buddy. So I guess he'd donate or something. How much? Okay.
Maya?
Bacon, egg and cheese. Lamau.
Yeah, I already assumed that, but thank you for confirming. Thanks for the donation, Jessica. Hello?
Hello?
Is this Jeremiah?
Yes, this is. Hi.
This is Vegan Gains.
Vegan Gains?
Yeah, this is Vegan Gains.
Okay, so all right, that explains why it's restricted. Hi. Well, I know who put you up to calling me.
Yeah,
My buddy. So I guess he'd donate or something. How much did he donate?
$20.
Damn, nice, dude. I don't know how much your average donos are, but that's pretty fat.
Yeah, so apparently you have a problem with veganism?
Not really, no. I think I'm personally not a vegan. I don't have like a hatred toward vegans or something.
Well, seems like you have a hatred towards animals if you're not vegan. Why do you think it's okay to murder animals?
No, I just I just respect the life cycle on Earth. And I realize at like scale, the amount of people we'd have to kill a lot of people probably. Like not everyone is going to be able to I mean, maybe when we can lab grow meat, that would be kind of cool. But
so
Shapiro.
Animal agriculture actually reduces the food supply because food that we could be feeding directly to humans gets fed to animals. What was it? Cornell University did an analysis. They found that 700 million more people could be fed if we stopped animal agriculture. The United Nations also did a analysis. They calculated that we would be able to feed the population that would be expected to exist by 2050, which I think is 9 billion people or 10 billion people, while using less land than we currently use today for agriculture if we were to stop using animal products. So
it's funny you say that, Christian. Stick around. We're watching something later that has a lot to do with what you just said.
That's not a good argument since animal agriculture actually reduces food insecurity.
Well, I am like largely against a lot of the factory farming type of things. Like a lot of that is kind of disgusting.
Okay, well, like 95% of farming is factory farming, so all the meat you're eating is factory farmed. So if you're against it, why are you supporting it?
Well, I mean, I'm not really in an economic situation right now. I'm sort of just, I mean, I'm not very wealthy. I also didn't want to
that's also a really bad excuse because the cheapest foods are plant-based foods.
I don't need to make excuses to you. I didn't call you. You called me. I didn't.
Yeah, well, you're
the
one making these arguments against why you're the one making these arguments for why you're not vegan. So
you asked me.
We've already established.
Well, you're just like pointing a finger.
Yeah, well, we've already established that eating meat does not improve food security. We've also established that eating meat is not cheaper than being vegan. So, what's your justification for murdering innocent animals?
Well, I didn't murder innocent animals.
Well, you absolutely did. If you're paying for them to be murdered, you're the one culpable for it.
Oh my god.
Okay, all right. Look, listen. I'm not here to try to defend like whether I eat meat. In fact, I don't even know why I'm here. You just called me. But what I would say, because the first question you asked is whether I hate veganism. Veganism, I don't have anything against vegans, especially ethical vegans. Like it. I mean, I really do. I do understand it. And I hope that we can get to a point where, potentially we could reach that as a society with like lab grown stuff and whatnot. But in terms of like hunting, and I think that you can live ethically without being a vegan if I think dipping your hand in like the life cycle of the planet by shooting and killing a deer and feeding your family with that.
There it is.
Months. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because that deer was going to be consumed by another predator. There's nothing. I mean, nature is inherently amoral. Like it doesn't have morals.
And if everyone went and did that tomorrow, all the deer would be dead. So this guy's solution is everyone should just go shoot a deer to feed their family. Absolute moron.
So as long as you're not torturing something and you're just killing it to eat it, you can do it in an ethical way.
So if I killed you to eat you, that'd be fine?
That are massive farms.
So if I killed you to eat you, would that be okay?
I think that's fine. If you kill to eat me, well, I would defend myself.
Well, I'm sure a deer would also try to defend itself if I tried to kill the deer. So,
Yeah. Well, that's the planet. Nature is amoral.
Okay,
It's just
so you don't
how
have
it
a
is.
problem with me, like anybody, say, killing you to eat you.
I do have a problem with it, but so does the deer. Yeah, that's not the point. But that's
Okay,
not nature.
so
That's not
if you're
reality.
okay with murdering
We don't live in the
deer,
Garden of
okay,
Eden.
so I can understand why you would have a personal problem with somebody killing you. How about me just going out and killing random people and eating them? Would you have a problem with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so can you
I'm a
name the
human
trait that's
supremacist.
lacking in
Humans are-
deer that
I'm
if
human.
lacking in a human being, it would make it morally acceptable to kill and eat that human being?
Why it's okay to human beings would have more rights than a deer because of, I mean, literally just the fact that you're a human, in my opinion, is enough. There's also just like intellectual capacity.
Okay, well,
That sort
the
of thing.
first answer you gave me is question begging. I asked you what trait animals are lacking that if lacking in a human being would justify killing
fact
and
that
eating
we're
a human
human.
being. Then you just mentioned they're humans. I understand that, but that's begging the question.
Well, I'm a
You
hard
mentioned
speciesist.
intellectual capacity. That's actually a trait. So are you saying like mentally disabled human beings would be okay to kill and eat them?
No, I'm telling you, I'm a speciesist. Like literally that.
Okay,
I think
so
it's cringe
species
to call
the
people
trait?
speciesist, but I just believe in human supremacy. If you are a human, I'm going to inherently value your life more than basically any other animal.
Okay, so let's say if Jews weren't human beings, they lacked the cluster genetics that made them part of the genus Homo. Would it be okay to kill and eat Jews?
Genus Homo.
If Jews weren't human, they wouldn't be Jews then.
Well, they would. It's just that
so I
they
don't
lack
know
the
why
cluster
you're-
genetics to be considered part of the genus
You're saying
Homo.
if a human wasn't a human, would it be okay to kill them to eat them? So what would they be? Would they be an animal?
Well, they'd look the same. They'd have the same level of intelligence. It's just that they don't have the same cluster genetics that would make them part of the genus Homo. So Jews could be the exact same they are now, but let's just say they had a divergent evolution where they could only interbreed with other Jews, but they couldn't interbreed with other humans. You'd be okay with killing
I don't
eating
know.
Jews?
I don't know, man. Maybe I would, if in the event that was reality, maybe I would develop some sort of scale to find out, like, there's sort of a like
you don't know
shades
if
of
you'd
how
kill
close
and eat
you are to
Jews.
humanity. And if you're close enough to humanity, then I would consider you human-like, or you're a humanoid. And if it was like Elder Scrolls with a bunch of different like races, like Khajiit and Argonians, you know what I mean? But like,
okay, wait. So the trait is no longer being part of the human species. It's having traits that make you
humanoid, I
close
guess.
enough to human. Okay, well, cows, pigs, chickens, they all have feelings. They all have maternal bonds. They form friendships. Even their body plan is similar. You can find, like, we all share a genetic lineage. They all have similar bones in their structure. They have femurs. They have like joints in the same places. They have 4 limbs, so they're humanoid-ish, right?
I mean, they evolved on the planet Earth, and they're mammals. I mean, they're not humanoids. They're mammal. I mean, you're just describing things that like most mammals have.
Right. Well, you said being
I could
close.
describe all the things that
So
work differently
you
as
just
well.
said
I mean,
being close enough to being human. So I would say they're close enough to being human. Like, again, what traits are they lacking?
like everything else that makes them not human. I mean, but this is kind of arbitrary. Like, who gives a fuck if they have a female? I mean, it's mostly about the intelligence, I guess. It's like the pairing between those two. I don't know. And I mean, I don't like the fact that I don't like that nature is cruel and that we kill things to eat it and other things kill things to eat them.
Well, then you don't have to be a part of it.
Continue doing it.
You
You're
don't
right.
have
Well,
to
I
engage in
don't.
that cruelty. You have the choice to not do that. And let me ask you a question.
Not everybody has that choice, to be fair.
No,
but
you have that choice.
Nice.
Well, and by the way,
Well,
everybody
you don't know
has that
anything about
choice.
me or my
every
scenario.
single person has that choice. There's no situation.
Every single person.
There is no situation where you are forced to eat animal products unless you're tied to a bed and you're getting food forced feed to you down a tube. So
Are you?
everybody has a choice.
Some people don't know where their next meal is going to come from, dude.
Yeah, and
I
they
don't
can
know.
choose to die. And
are you
and
saying
starve to
everyone in the
death.
first world? You think someone should starve to death rather than eat like a plate of chicken in front of them to not starve to death?
Yes, because eating that plate of chicken
All right, dog,
means
you're
you are
retarded.
murdering another creature. And let me ask you this:
It's for self-sustenance. It's me or them, dog, and it's gonna be them. I have more power over them. That's just how it is.
Okay, so I have
I'm
more
not
power
gonna-
over you. I'm 6'3", 270 pounds. I'm a bodybuilder. I can bench 400
right.
pounds. So can I kill and eat you? But let me ask you this.
Well, you can try, but thankfully we have equalizers. Thank God for Smith and Wesson.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm
and
pretty goddamn
we
good
have
at
laws,
shooting.
we
I
have
posted some
morals.
videos of me shooting on
Okay,
Instagram.
well,
So
I mean, I wouldn't
you might
advise you try
still
and
be
kill
at a
people and eat
disadvantage.
them.
But
Maybe.
But
And you
let
would
me
be
ask you this:
imprisoned.
if you were to find a chicken that had human intelligence, so you could talk to it, it could have a conversation, you can have, a chicken could argue with you like I'm arguing with you now. Would it be ethical to kill the chicken?
If it was as annoying as you, then yes.
Okay, so if
No,
I think you're being
wait,
facetious,
say it again. I'm
but
sorry.
But if you found a chicken that had human level intelligence and could advocate for its own life in a similar way that I'm advocating for the lives of animals right now, would it be ethical to kill the chicken?
I think it would be. I would say it's certainly less ethical than killing a chicken with like how chickens actually are in reality.
Okay, well, I'm asking you if it is ethical or not.
Unethical.
You'd say it's unethical?
Well, ethics aren't black and white. I would say that it's unethical, but it's still more ethical than killing a human.
Why?
Because I guess I'm just a hardline speciesist.
Okay, so if somebody were to tell you, I think killing a black person is less ethical than killing a white person, and I just think
then you should have some sort of argument to back your beliefs up. But this guy doesn't. None of these guys do.
Because he hasn't actually thought it through, and he's just, this is what the excuse he uses.
Yeah.
Well, they all have an argument.
You think it's through, then. Sorry, go ahead.
They all have an argument. It's just, well, they actually have dozens of arguments. They're just the same run through, very poor arguments that actually absolutely go nowhere. I haven't ever heard of a good argument against veganism. Like, I did like the fact that they were bringing up Forgotten Realms, though, and all the different races. Because, I mean, according to meat eaters, we could go out into the universe and start eating the universe to death. Like, it's preposterous. We need to be civilized if we're going to grow as a race. It's just reality. I know that's kind of off topic, but
yeah. So yeah, that was pretty typical. Pretty typical. I'm so bored of hearing these guys, and they're so proud when they say this stuff. Like they're the first person to ever say that to us, and it's like, been dealing with this stuff for decades, kind of. Like these old '90s era arguments. It's arguments that have been passed down from uncle to uncle, over the generations. And none of them have any truth back to them, and they're all easily debunked. They've all been debunked.
I actually came up with the best argument against veganism that I've heard to date, honestly, and that's as a vegan. I literally came up with it.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Well, they did a study, and men with larger genitals were more likely to be cheated on.
How did I know you were going in this direction?
just hear me out, brother. Hear me out.
Jump off the ball sack guy.
Larger genitals are more likely to be cheated on. So, in essence, that would be vegan men because they have better blood flow. So, if you wanted to for it to be less likely for your wife to cheat on you, you should be an animal abuser and eat corpses and shrink your own genitals. Just mathematically, according to the survey. But besides the point, tell me that's not a case endpoint and better than anything they come up with.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think you're focusing a little bit too much on male genitalia, John Bob. It's a little worrying.
I don't think so. I think it makes sense because what kind of masculine male is going to want to shrink his own genitals? I think if we get it out there like that they are literally turning themselves into inferior betas, they're gonna want to change that problem and like make themselves better people, more masculine. And besides that, you want to bring up, well, I brought up the masculinity. What kind of male intentionally abandons his own family? You know what I mean? Like, this shit literally gives them heart disease. These motherfuckers call themselves men and then give themselves heart disease and abandon their families on purpose. What kind of piece of shit thinks bacon's more important than his kids? I'm just saying. Fucking God, these motherfuckers are pathetic. Sorry, I get really emotional about this. What'd you say?
Oh, I just said fair enough. I see the argument.
John Balls. John.
Oh no.
Oh no, we got a new name.
Who's that? Who said that?
I don't know.
It's on the screen.
It's the homie Owen.
Owen, you're a beta. I have anti-vegan argument as a whole food plant-based guy. Well, let's hear it, Christian. You want to come up?
Let's hear it, Christian. Yeah, why don't you ever come up, Christian?
Do it, do it, do it.
Woo!
Do it.
He probably won't.
Well,
No, I actually know Christian
People don't
personally.
ever come up on this show.
Pop up here and say hi. I don't think he'd avoid us. I have an
we'll start
anti-vegan.
watching. Well, plus, he was talking about dog food earlier, and this is a pretty interesting video.
relevant.
John Balls, peak masculine male. Yep, that is.
That's sick, dude.
That's like your yeah. That's like your That's like your Magnum PI, like John Balls, peak masculine male.
It's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna complain. I mean, fucking look at the source. And I never claimed to be like the peak male, but I'll tell you this much. I don't shrink my own genitals on purpose or abandon my family. So fuck them.
You sure fasting doesn't shrink your balls?
What?
Nothing.
I missed it, but yeah.
Today we're going to be discussing our best friends and the food that we feed them. And no, I'm not talking about getting your best mate a pizza. I'm talking about our animal friends, and specifically the dogs and cats that tend to live in our homes with us. Dogs and cats, they need meat to survive. Right? Or is that just propaganda created by corrupt industries that are all in bed together? From veterinary schools to massive global corporations, all part of a massive pet food industry complex? Could it be that? Today we're going to explore the ethical concerns and also the health issues that our pets face from what we feed them. We're also going to be exposing corruption and bias in the veterinary industry, an industry that we're all supposed to trust. Early research into dog food has shown that dogs can absolutely be healthy and thrive eating plant-based food that is specifically prepared for their nutritional needs. The research is even finding that dogs that are consuming conventional dog food are having more health issues than dogs that are consuming plant-based vegan dog food. And there is more research on cats too, showing that commercially available vegan cat food can be very healthy for cats. Who doesn't want to be feeding their beloved pets the most healthiest food they can get, right? But there's a huge problem. It's animal abuse to feed your pets plant-based food. Your dog would choose choose meat every time if you gave them the choice. First off, there is no issue feeding a dog or a cat a nutritionally adequate diet. It's not animal abuse. And with the second point, dogs would choose to eat chocolate, but that doesn't mean they should eat it, because if you didn't already know, chocolate is poisonous to dogs. We really shouldn't
Very good
base
argument.
what to or what not to feed a dog on what they would or wouldn't choose themselves. But with all that said, according to this study, dogs actually enjoyed the plant-based food. They enjoyed it just as much as meat. So that's a nice bonus. We know that our dogs and our cats can be eating plant-based and be healthy with all the nutrition they need. Why is the entire veterinary industry not jumping on board with that? You may have heard of the company Mars. You know Mars that makes all the chocolate? Well, they also own Pedigree, Whiskers, and Royal Canin, some of the world's most popular pet food brands. And Mars has also been buying veterinary clinics. In 2016, they bought the veterinary hospital operator VCA Inc., adding 800 veterinary hospitals to their existing portfolio of over 900 veterinary clinics. And in March 2023, they bought Heska, a company that makes veterinary specialty products for clinics and hospitals. Mars, owning some of the biggest pet food brands in the world, buying vet hospitals and vet equipment companies. Do you think the people working in these Mars-owned veterinary hospitals are going to be promoting more of their products or less of their products? I think we know the answer. And it doesn't stop with Mars. You've heard of Nestle, right? Nestle owns Purina, another world-famous pet food brand. And in 2019, they formed a partnership with independent vet care group International, with a portfolio of 1,100 veterinary hospitals and clinics in 10 countries. We're talking millions of dollars being pumped into the vet care industry from both Mars and Nestle. Do you really think these pet healthcare providers are not going to be promoting the products of their parent companies? Imagine if Coca-Cola owned your hospital. Would you trust the nutritional advice of the people talking to you? Would you trust the hospital kitchen? I bloody wouldn't. There's even evidence that Mars has been pushing their veterinary doctors to make decisions for dogs that could actually harm the dogs because they want to make more money. John Robb, a veterinarian who was running an animal hospital owned by Mars, was seeing that high doses of a certain medicine was causing severe reactions in smaller dogs, with some of these dogs almost dying from the reactions. So he started administering lower doses for the smaller dogs, explaining that this medicine wasn't a one-size-fits-all and needed to be adjusted to each dog's individual size and weight. A sensible decision made by an experienced professional. How do you think the big bosses at Mars responded? They seized the hospital from him and sued him. They said he was violating protocol by administering lower doses and trying to save those animals' lives. And that obviously was losing them money because he was using less of the drugs. John Robb went on record saying what Mars is doing is peticide, the systematic destruction of pets by corporations for profit. The huge pet company Hills has recently just been sued for making false claims about pet foods that contain peas, legumes, and potatoes. These are things that are often found in plant-based pet foods. They're being sued because they made false claims that those pet foods were harming the health of dogs. This is the playbook of the corporate giants. Confuse, control, and profit. Okay, so now we've established that these giant multinational corporations are in it for profit. They own all these pet food brands. They're buying veterinary hospitals and clinics. They're buying places that supply the equipment to these veterinary hospitals and clinics. We established that there's corruption and bias here. But what about the veterinary professionals themselves? After all, aren't vet professionals the people you'd expect to be giving you the newest information on how to keep your beloved pets the healthiest? Aren't they the people you'd expect to care the most about animals, considering that's what they've devoted their lives to? Well, to begin with, most vets, just like most of the population, aren't actually vegan, which is strange. And a lot of vegans do make this comment. They say vets are the only doctors that eat their patients. And you can't really argue with that, can you? Right off the bat, you can see why there will be, and there is, a bias against plant-based nutrition for dogs and cats. This is a good time to tell you that I've actually partnered with Omnipet, the UK's leading plant-based dog food company. They're the only vet-formulated, peer-reviewed, and 100% vegan dog food brand in the killed to be put into pet food to feed our beloved dogs and cats. A company like Omni has a massive role to play in changing the world for animals. So we've established that vets may have a personal bias against vegan and plant-based food for dogs and cats. But that's just scratching the surface. It's so much worse than this. These huge corporations have even sunk their teeth into the places where new vets are training. They've got into the veterinary schools as well. At this university in Australia, students wear scrubs with the logo of a pet food company right there, sewn onto the fabric. The lecturers are also sponsored by the same company and have been recommending products during the lectures. Various Australian universities have been taking donations of thousands of dollars from these massive corporations. It's a similar situation over in the US. These companies are making huge donations to universities. One article I read described this as learning under the influence. These vet professionals are learning under the influence of propaganda and profit-driven education. Your personal vet might not be supportive of having your dog or cat on a plant-based diet. That's not necessarily because there's some kind of terrible person who's been bought out by big corporations. It's most likely just because they're following the mainstream ideas and the mainstream narrative that has been created by big companies like Mars. I'm going to tell you now how many dogs and cats people have in their homes globally. They have 471 million dogs and 373 million cats. Now I'm going to tell you how many pigs, cows, chickens, and other animals are killed on a yearly basis to feed our dogs and cats. 7 billion land animals. These animals have personalities and lives that are valuable to them just the same way as your dog or cat has a personality and their life is valuable to them. I've actually met many animals that were destined for the slaughterhouse that have fortunately now been rescued and spend their lives in animal sanctuaries. One of these animals is Ziggy, a little piglet that was rescued from the meat industry. He followed me around begging me for cuddles and scratches, and then after he got those cuddles and scratches, he continued to follow me around so he could get more cuddles and scratches. Just like I'm sure many of your dogs do. But see, for Ziggy, Ziggy's a pig. His destiny was to go into a slaughterhouse and be killed for either a human or a dog or a cat to eat his body.
So yeah, not counting their subsidies, government subsidies going into this also, and what was I gonna say? I forgot. What were you gonna say? Oh, Jesus.
Well, I got something to add if I can, quick.
Do it.
All right, so I actually used to do a lot of short path distillation out of Colorado, and I would always be driving back and forth, through Colorado. You got to take that main highway all the way in to get into Denver from Minnesota. The thing that I learned is that when you start driving in, you see all those. Have you driven to John or anybody? You guys been to Colorado before? Driven inward to Denver?
Not since I've been of age.
McDonald's farms, basically the meat that's used for about a third, maybe fucking less because of how much meat McDonald's uses, but a few of McDonald's cattle ranches are right there when you get in, and they're massive. They're the most disgusting looking thing you see. There's no fucking grass on the ground. They feed these things fucking grain. They are literally just out there in fucking shit piles and dirt 24/7. And as you get further, you realize something. There's a creek. There's this river that's literally running right next to all these farms that all that shit is running into.
The slurry.
Yep, that river goes all the way down into Denver, and then you notice something. That is the water supply that they use to make Purina dog food.
Ew.
Ew, right. It's just so fucking nasty. It's like
mad cow disease where they're like feeding cows.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
I know what I was going to say. So they're doing to our animals what they've been doing to us in the system where they own the restaurant, they own all the food distribution, all the farming, and they're feeding us terrible food, toxic food. They're leaving us in toxic environments, and then they're preying on us when we go to their hospitals that they also own. So it's the same thing with this vet system, obviously. They're pushing the agenda to feed dogs unhealthy food, so they're at the vet for their whole lives. It's very clear, clearly, pretty nasty system that I don't really know how we're going to get out of. It doesn't seem like we're going to be able to do it anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't either. It's very conflicting when you try to have these conversations as a plant eater to other people who I think the big problem is there's a lack of fuck giving. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. There's the lack of care. No one gives a shit. Everyone, these moral relativists that just think that they're here to do whatever they want to do, and whatever they do doesn't matter to anyone else or the rest of the world. When really, when you put out negative, it makes the world negative and turns the world into hell on earth. So, we have to clearly change the way we think about things and start to give a shit if we're going to get ourselves out of this.
Only way.
So I got to zoom back a little bit to the cute cow. Where was that? The cow pig.
Found begging little pigs out that are valuable to them just the same way as your dog body. Plant-based diet and be killed for either a human.
Yeah, that's a lot. John Ball says it's all about the schlong. It is. John Bob, what do you think about Lubass? We got Lubass in the comments. I know you love Lubass.
Man. Way to derail the conversation.
I know. Anyway, so obviously that system's pretty screwed up. I mean, the fact that people are still feeding their animals kibble. Kibble was only made as a necessity to. Okay, so in World War II, they needed the cans for food for the like humans, obviously. So they started freeze drying or drying, dehydrating kibble, and then they just never stopped doing it. But it was never about, oh, this is like okay or healthy for them to eat food this way. It's just this simply became very, it's dry. It doesn't stink. It's not some gooey shit. It's not some weird meat that you have to have in your house that you're feeding your dog. It's very convenient. And we don't care about the convenience of the animals or the animals that we have their health at all. It seems like, because humans choose convenience over their safety and healthiness, their health all the time.
My dogs get three. My dogs get three home cooked meals a day.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that, honestly.
2 home cooked meals a day, but they're pretty beefly.
Yeah. You got a lot of time on your hands, John Bob.
He does. He's got a lot. Plenty.
Well, I find we have time for what we devote our time to. You know what I mean? Like if we choose to be a good slave, we're gonna be stuck, going to and from our factory job every day and, being miserable. If we choose not to be, we find other ways to make money and be productive and not be a good slave. Let's see. Alex Newman, John Balls says it's all about the schlong. Alex Newman, I want to mention that vegans have the highest sexual satisfaction rates, like around 95%, and meat eaters are around 50%. So maybe you should worry more about your schlong and how you can fucking please other people rather than being such a beta back bitch. So that's my thought on that, bud.
John Bob sounding like Durian Rider over here.
Like who?
Did you just mention that? Fucking
Have you heard the news, Christian?
Which news? The fucking steak news?
No, that Harley and Natasha are porn stars now. You can go to their Natasha's OnlyFans and see Harley full on balls deep.
I don't care to see Harley in any fucking direction. I talk so much shit to Harley on a daily. He love hates me because I get him fucking views, but in the same sense, he just fucking hates me because I call him out on everything.
I mean, they had to go there. They got caught fucking alienating their fucking sponsors, lost all their money, so that now they're selling fucking themselves for views.
Dude, he fucking got recorded eating steak at a steakhouse too. This dude's full of shit. Every single time Durian yeah, dude. Him and Natasha were recorded eating fucking steak at a steakhouse. Durian tried to chase them.
No way. Where's the video?
It was clicked on the. Hold on. It was like 3 days ago. It had to do with Darren. He was sitting down having a conversation about what was he talking about? He was talking about fucking mental state of mind. He was talking about people who talk shit, this and that. In the comment section of that is the fucking link to the video. I clicked it.
No way.
Go find it. It's.
All right, we gotta find it.
I actually think he's wearing the fucking that Lance Armstrong jersey, the USPS postal jersey.
Well, you
Dude, I
know
tried
how much
finding
of
this
a
video twice.
you can't ever really trust anything Harley does. Yeah, Allie's finding it.
Oh, you know what I love about Harley? My favorite part about Harley is like, oh, as you guys know, I've trained all these pro athletes, and all these guys are on my nutritional plan. And every time he says shit like that, I'm like, well, who? What do you mean? Well, who did you train? Like, who has your name? Like, who can I ask that says, oh yeah, Harley trained me? Nothing. Fucking cricket every goddamn time.
Well, I made a video. Actually, on here, we talked on the show. We talked about a story that I had heard about Harley, kind of low key in the background training, like giving Nick and Nate Diaz tips. And he actually corrected me on it and said that like it didn't happen at all that way, that just someone had mentioned to him that they had been watching his videos or something. So he corrected me on something he didn't need to correct me on, but you never know.
Yeah, I know. I
gotta
agree.
see the steak he's eating though. Hold on.
Wait, so
yeah, bro.
Which one is it?
It's the mental health video. He posted it like 3 or 4 days ago. It might have been like 5 or 6 now, but I remember when it happened. I called.
Is he
John.
standing in front of a bunch of shoes?
Isn't he always standing in front of a bunch of shoes? A bunch of
No,
Nike?
not always.
Or he's in his backyard with a bunch of wild cats running around?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll look.
All right, Allie's looking. She'll look. She'll find it.
That video, we need to because literally right when I watched it, I called John like moment of went, dude, this motherfucker. Yeah.
It was, dude.
Sorry about
like that. How do you know it wasn't just him trolling? Harley trolls deep.
No,
He talks about being on cocaine and stuff. Like he talks about all kinds of crazy stuff that isn't true.
You think he's trolling when he's dude? I honestly think he's a cokehead. I'm sorry, but everything he does is kind of. I don't think the guy's a coke.
Possible.
It's just the sugar, bro. Come on,
sugar,
mate.
Cobs, bro. Cob the fuck up, bro. I don't need any stim.
What I thought.
Guys, look at this. This is my cocaine. Size of this fucking thing. I got a melon the size of a watermelon.
Is that a melon?
I know. This is a melon. It's the size of a fucking watermelon, dude.
What kind of melon is that?
I'm drinking
This
a
is
flavor with at least 52 in it, just so I don't get migraines from not riding today or tomorrow or the next day. Sucks.
Yeah, you ain't riding for like a week.
God damn it. John Bob.
It's a hammy melon, guys. Hammy.
Hammy?
That's the one we have.
That's what we literally bought one for the first time yesterday, and we went and bought another one.
Good, yeah.
They're really good. Holy shit!
I fucking love them. I get them every year when they come into season. It's like one of those special treats I look forward to. But I mean, I eat 90% fruit, so pretty much every time a fruit comes into season, I'm excited and happy to see it again. You know,
Christian, we almost saw your freaking religion there, man.
I'm sorry.
You are
man.
naked, aren't you?
Yeah. I crashed yesterday. I got a fucking
Oh no!
What
happened?
Dude, I saw it. He has a cherry this big on his fucking ass.
He's got those.
Right to the hospital.
Yeah, I showed John my Strava video. I was going about 26 miles an hour into that roundabout, and I hit a straight fucking oil slab. Some truck dumped oil all over the road.
Disc brakes?
Dude, I just power slid. I hit it and fucking went right into the fucking sidewalk.
Oh my god!
That sucks.
That's not that nice bike you built.
Well, which one, man?
Yeah, well, you built one for yourself recently that was pretty disgusting.
But my disc brake. You know what though? Hold on though. Like, if you look here, Like, this is my 1981 Raleigh Professional. Here's my 1971 Star, which was one of the first Ace equipped bikes. Over here is my Raleigh Superforce, the bike you hate.
Yeah.
Time trial bike.
Steel's real, bro.
Bike with disc brakes. Everything else is a rim brake, bud.
Yeah. I know you're a rim brake mafia.
I am.
I actually right now I have a rim brake bike. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I have a disc brake bike too, but it's a gravel bike.
Yeah.
What's up, Fred? Sorry. I
Hey,
don't know why I'm yelling.
how you doing? Can you hear me, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I stumbled upon your work recently, and I think we lack this kind of approach when we talk about natural law and morality, such as what we learn with the years. And I just made a podcast about carnism, by the way, on the Libercast just yesterday, and I did it in French because I do my podcast on two language. So I covered carnism as boldly as I could. I mean, this.
Yeah,
is,
I saw.
Yes,
I saw your message yesterday, but I was not settled in yet. We had a big fire come through our area in California, and we had it just completely. Our whole lives stopped for like 3 weeks, basically. So we're just kind of settling back in. I really do want to do a show with you, but yeah, I saw how'd that show go last night.
Well, it's not the most popular, as as you can know, because the people who are surrounding me are not like enlined into this kind of stuff.
Oh, you went head to head with some people, huh?
Oh yes, I did, and
that's why you
not
wanted
gonna
my
be the
help.
last time, brother. It's not gonna be the last.
Yeah.
Time. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm definitely down to help out next time. I don't know. They might be French people.
Oh, I
might not
totally
know what I'm
want to
talking
have
about.
you. Not because I'm not the kind of guy who choose sides. I'm a neutral researcher. This is what I'm doing. I'm not taking clans. I'm not into clubs. I have the pleasure of being part of the One Great Work Network, and I happen to have a lot of discussion with people surrounding the network and the communities who are surrounding it. And there's a lot of things that are most of the problems that I encounter when we're talking about carnism is cognitive dissonance. This is the true fear is one of them. And most people cannot just be being honest about it and just say, yes, I do participate in slavery by eating meat. They cannot do this. They're afraid shitless. They're scared shitless of doing it because it's going against the message.
Yeah, because these are the people that scream about slavery the most, yet they are slaving on sentient beings. And like with the One Great Work Network, like we have, we butt heads with a lot of those guys because they seem like they're completely full of shit. And unfortunately, Mark has financial reasons why he lets them into his network. But there are people that are completely going against, the core values of natural law and trying to alter natural law, the word of natural law in the One Great Work Network right now. But we're kind of always we've been going over their work and seeing, it's just you listen to these guys talk and it just completely falls flat because it's like, dude, you still don't even know, you still haven't figured out in your heart to stop killing sentient beings for a taste. Like, come on, guy, like what could you actually know? And these guys are up there just like robotically saying all these words that have to do with natural law, but they're not even connecting. And and then these guys, you know, eat animals still, and you know, aren't and don't even promote people to stop eating animals. They're telling people to continue immoral satanic behavior. And it's shocking that these are the people that are held up, you know, that are in this group that's so looked up upon, and yet nobody up there, you know, there's four or five people, it seems like, you know, that are really outspoken about the veganism thing in One Great Work. And it's like, dude, it should be 90% vegans up there. Like, how is it not full?
Absolutely. I mean, how much work that we need to do, you know, even, you know, I tend to go in my podcast about shadow working and facing the darkness and doing the psychological work and the metaphysic aspect of it, you know, the relationship that we have with others and things like that. So, I mean, we're not at the same level, you know. There's I don't like to say that, but I mean, there's people who cannot align as much as we can with truth. And why am I saying that? Sorry, it's my second language, so if I'm stuttering, sorry about that. This is a you're muted, brother. So
we hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm kind of searching for my words from time to time. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them who are doing a good work. The heart is there, but there's cognitive dissonance, and this have to be pointed out. This need to be exposed, because if we're not going through this darkness together, if we cannot be on one page, on the same page altogether about basic knowledge, basic understanding about natural law and what is it, the relationship that we have with our brothers and sisters from the animal kingdom. They're not separated from us. We are them and they are us. There's no separation. This is the principle of mentalism. We're all brothers and sisters, and the way that we're treating them, we're treating them as commodities, as taste bud satisfiers. We're completely selfish through this action of mass murdering animals. I've been vegan for 4 years. I'm a 11 years or 12 years vegetarians. My children are vegetarians. Never ate meat ever.
Nice.
So I know I'm not vegan
Impossible.
anymore.
They'd be dead. Not possible.
I'm not ashamed of not being vegan anymore. I'm still vegetarians, and I have health related issues with the diet. It wasn't perfect. I tried 4 years. I did animal activism. I partook into this world of veganism. I've seen it from the inside. I've seen it being teared apart from the socialists and the communists. They were destroyed by all this propaganda, and the message, the word were lost in the way.
Yep. Casting pearls before swine.
Yep.
I had a sense that there were a lot of frustrated people in One Great Work, and it's been cool having people stop by and be like, yeah, you're right. You know, like everything you're saying is absolutely right about what's going on over there. And I was just kind of guessing. But yeah, it's pretty, it's the most shocking thing is, like, you know, researching natural law and being a part of the whole thing, and then just seeing what other people say about it. It's just like, it's really scary. And, you know, like, just the most basic thing of, all right, what does a Satanist look like? Does it look like a death metal guy, or does it look like the general population of the world, you know? And that's that kind of, once that clicked in my head, I was like, oh, so that's why we think that only Satanists only like worship the pentagram and things like that. They put that on Satanists to make it seem like, oh no, that's a different type of person. Everyone else is good, but really everyone's living this immoral lifestyle that we've just got accustomed to out of habit. And again, it's all these people that are just like, oh, this is just here for me. It's all for me. Me. I can do whatever I am when I'm here because God said so, or something like that. Like they have this BS interpretation because I don't know, people are just uneducated. They don't really dive into things open-mindedly.
Ignorance. It's not the lack of knowledge; it's ignorant of it.
Yeah. Not nescient, ignorant.
Me and Christian.
You know what? Yeah.
Me and Christian, we were actually discussing the 10 Commandments one day, and we were talking about how meat eaters are literally satanic, and how like that act could be tied to how many of the commandments did we link that to in our conversation, saying that
in like an open linked all 10, but in a very able to link directly to it. It was like 8. We were able to link 8 directly sins out of the 10 commandments that meat eaters just break every goddamn day. When you look at the commandments, it's like, I shall not. I had a guy earlier today ask me, where in the Bible does it say you can't hunt? I was like, I think it's in the commandments, right? Like, thou shalt not kill. Like, pretty sure that's what that one means. But yeah, no, it's like, it's everything like fucking, what honoring? Oh, fuck. We would, John. You pull up the 10 Commandments real quick. Yeah. Hold on a second. I'll walk through this one really quickly because me and John did this a while back.
You seen Christspiracy, Christian?
No, I missed it. And the fucked up thing is I bought a ticket.
Yeah, we missed it too.
he had a ticket to the show. I bought the tickets like a month in advance.
Man.
He said, when are you going? He bought the ticket right next to me. So like me and Christian, we know each other in real life. We hang out, So he was supposed to be at the theater. He ended up missing it. But it was a bomb movie, guys. It was so good.
This is what we did. First commandment is thou shalt not have any gods before me. Dude, meat eaters literally put their fucking meal before God every goddamn fucking time. Thou shalt not
make sacrifice.
Yeah, thou shalt make any graven image, meaning, not fucking idolize anything, which is they idolize their fucking food. Let's see here. Thou shalt not take the names Lord in vain. Well, you fucking do that every time you destroy his creation. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. These motherfuckers never keep it holy. Honor thy father and mother. You're literally trashing your fucking body and your soul through your children every goddamn way. Thou shalt not kill. We already know that one. Thou shalt not adultery. I like to imagine these meat eaters are fucking the animal anyways, so that's got to be adultery in my mind. Thou shalt not steal.
Well, they pay people money to fuck cows with their fist. If that's not supporting fucking bestiality and adultery on a very large scale, I don't know what is. That's how we linked it that one day. Sick fucks.
Not in your fucking meat industry propaganda cult.
Yeah, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. That's all we do. We sit here and have these podcasts and talk. That's all. Bear false witness. They're full of shit. Yep, and shall not covert. I mean, that's obvious.
You're gonna find out that you fuck with the wrong one, boy.
All 10. Right. Go all 10.
Mark Cassio.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. And like every single time I have meat eaters come at me, because I'm linked to a bunch of athletic groups, pages, apps, and stuff. I always try to call them out. And I'm like, dude, if you eating meat is superior than me eating plants, race me across this fucking country. Race me from Oceanside, California to fucking Maryland. You on your carnivore diet, me on my plant-based diet. Let's see how fucking far your recovery works. Because in my mind, true health comes in the form of recovery while still in the fucking moment.
Well, remember how I couldn't swim before I went vegan, and how, dude, I can tread water all day now. Like, the endurance is there. Like, I don't get winded. I don't get tired. It's fucking amazing. I can't believe people claim they're athletes when they can't even fucking breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the carnivore doctor. What's his name? Sean, not Baker. The other guy. He made a video before the Olympics. Yeah, Paul Saladino. He's all, I guarantee not a single vegan will be anyone holding a medal will be vegan. And there was like 4 or 5 vegans that took medals. So, oops, that didn't age well.
Not only that, but look at the reality of it. Most of the people who were meat eaters that were there too were eating 70 to 90% plant diets because that's the food they were feeding at the Olympics. These fuckers are breaking records left and right. You don't think that was contributed to the meal they were eating? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hard one to pitch to them though. They don't get it. I don't know.
I mean, for occultist information, for the people who are into this knowledge, there's a little book. It's pretty cheap. It has been written by a Freemason, and it's called Occultism and Vegetarianism. This is actually an incredible little book about vegetarianism and the relationship that we have with animals and the consequences of killing them in masses. So we have
What's
to
the name of that book?
Occultism and Vegetarianism. Leadbeater, the name of the guy. It's his art.
Leadbeater? Wow.
Leadbeater.
I have to check that out.
I cannot.
Is it on? It's on Mark Passio's Arc, right?
Absolutely. I bought it.
Yeah.
I bought it, and it's very cheap, and people can get through it, and it's very neutral, and they were some sailors that were lifting really heavy stuff, and most of these guys, all of them, were on a diet of figs and rice, and they were able to lift heavy weights that take 4 average guy to take it out of the ground. They could take it by themselves and on a diet of rice and figs. So, I mean, my children, by example, they're the living example of that. You don't need meat to put into your diet and thrive and live and being happy and full of energy. It's all fucking bullshit.
Yep.
My children are living proof of that.
So
this is a shameful debate that we have. This is unfortunate that we still have to have a debate about this, being fucking truthful about the nature of the crimes that are committed, because it's all violence. It's all about theft of life. It's about animals cannot give you consent ever, and it's not a reason to abuse them and kill them. And when I'm talking about abuse, for the people who have seen the documentary Earthlings or Dominion, these people who have not looked into this movie, you have nothing to say about. And I'm not talking about already vegan, already activist people who are in the know, but meat eaters who didn't went through this movie without fucking crumbling and crying and being depressed about the nature of this video, the torturing, the killing of these
Well, let me ask you guys.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
I don't think that people realize what the impact of children eating animal products is. My son all my children are plant-based too. They're all vegan little kids. The thing that I kind of noticed was my son started racing bicycles this year with me, entered his first tournament this year at the state fairgrounds at the championship fairgrounds. My son was at the age of 7 against 9 and 12-year-olds. My son got first place in the whole thing.
What?
The youngest kid in the whole thing was 12-year-olds, and he got third place. Died. My kid literally looked at me when he was dying. He's like, "Dad, my leg hurts." He said, "Keep going. Gotta suffer." He said, "Okay." Suffer. And he got. I mean, it is what it is. You eat like trash. You fall apart. Poison so early, and they don't realize their genetic code.
Christian, I think your connection's fucked up.
A little bit.
Sorry Sorry, I don't want to interrupt anyone.
I'm gonna back out and then come back in.
So
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that people must consider, and this is the law of assimilation. So animals, when they're groomed and grown into factories, they're all injected with vaccines, with hormones, with antibiotic, and all these things. And people who are eating meat, they're actually taking it in. So this vaccines, hormone, and antibiotic are through the muscles, and meat is muscles. So if not only that, for the people who don't know it, maybe there's some people will come on upon this video. They're not testing every animals that they're gonna send to the slaughterhouse for diseases, cancer, infections. So the first thing that is going to happen is when the animal is actually dying. When the animal is dying, the life is getting out of the body, the rotting is starting. There's worms, bacteria that they're going to start to spawn from the dead meat, the carcass of this animal. So what we're doing as humans when we're killing these animals, we're putting them into freezers so we can slow down the rotting. But
you wouldn't believe.
Go on.
You bring up the parasites, man. I went on a 120-day juice fast. I cleared everything out and I starved them. I had 2-foot worms coming out of me. And I mean, I've been vegan for years, but I mean, I ate like a garbage can most of my life. It's insane how long this shit can stay alive inside of there. And once it's tainted that environment from all the dead carcass and stuff, everything that's going in there, touching that becomes tainted by that. When I did a juice bath, I cleared stuff like that you wouldn't believe. I don't even know what to say. Eating meat is the most vile thing. When you see what you put into the human body, I would never poison my kids that way. I told my wife when I married her, prior to marrying her, I said I would marry somebody that eats meat, that I will not be with somebody that would teach my children violence, because it's pointless. It does nothing but destroy us, destroys the animals, destroys the environment. There's no upside to it. How can you support that and be a decent person, Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short. I just wanted to contribute that.
Yeah, man. What's up, William?
Not much.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Are you the vegan metalhead?
Yeah, I've been vegan 9 years.
Sick.
Awesome. Hey, precious.
Yes.
Yeah, I was raised McDougal vegetarian. I went vegan in the 90s. I was a part of the whole vegan straight edge thing. And up until moving to Hollywood, when I kind of got involved in music stuff and kind of like lost my morals for a while and became a carnist for about 10 years and did the paleo thing and then went back to being vegan in like 2015, I think, or 16. And definitely after veganism was very easy to go back to after finding out about just what I learned as being a libertarian about economics and how subsidies work and how our tax dollars go towards the meat and dairy industry in order to prop up the price so people can actually afford it, because it's actually economically insane to grow an animal to kill it just for a little bit of calories. It's just this psychotic cult sacrifice that we do out of habit that isn't even like, it doesn't even make sense financially for us to do it. Nothing about it makes sense because it's not what we're supposed to be doing. People in people in factory farm workers that work in slaughterhouses would not be going nuts and committing suicide at a 10 times higher rate than normal people if we were supposed to be eating meats. There's all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it was wild. You know, it was a wild ride being a carnist for a while. It definitely was a period of time when I was the least healthiest. Despite having muscles and stuff, you know, like I still didn't, I wasn't healthy. And when I was a kid, when I was vegan, I wasn't healthy either. Because I didn't do it right, and I didn't know how to do it right because I was too young to know really. Like I was really into food and veganism and everything, but I just thought because I wasn't eating McDonald's that I was healthy. But really, you know, by 19, I had like really bad hemorrhoids because I ate so much soy. Because in the 90s, they didn't have anything, you know, like there was very little vegan food and it was all soy. And we didn't have rice milk yet or oat milk.
Fruits and vegetables that you.
Well, yeah. Of course, I wasn't eating much fruits and vegetables as a vegan. When I literally would buy cases of vanilla soy milk and just drink them until the case is empty, and I'd buy more of them. Like and I was just like, I'm not eating McDonald's, so I'm cool, you know. And it's like now this time around, you know, I'm doing it completely different as a high carb vegan. And it's not even, you can't even compare it with like when I was eating meat and dairy. Like I was constantly fluctuating in weight. I was out of shape. I had no cardio, no, I was heavy, just sluggish all the time. Very aggressive, mentality wise. I just morally bankrupt. And I've had guilt the whole time because I had been vegan and I had been a vegan and an animal rights activist. I used to, you know, do tables for PETA at all the local high schools, and when I was growing up, and so I had a lot of vegan guilt the whole time, and I kind of always knew. And it wasn't until someone I knew that was vegan was like, "Wait a minute, dude, you're talking about this non-aggression principle all the time. You're full of shit. You're still eating animals," you know. And I was all, "Oh shit, that hurt." And then then I had an anarchist buddy, a libertarian anarchist buddy, be like, "Yeah, dude." He made this video where he was just like, "Yeah, like you don't even understand how much of our tax dollars goes towards the meat and dairy industry to prop it up." All that stuff I explained earlier, how it's just like meat used to be only like the kings and stuff ate the meat, and they always died young, you know, and they were always fat and gluttonous. You know, like everyone else was vegan pretty much back in the day. But yeah, so yeah, so it's I just got thrown off. It's pretty funny. It's all pretty funny.
I've been eating meat for 30 years. I tasted all almost. I know what these people are talking about. You know, you have this addiction that you have to get rid of because it is an addiction. You're not addicted to the goods or the bads that are in it. Your people are about validation. They're gonna be they want to get accepted by other people. And meat eating or extreme veganism, as I call them, they are a product of cultural indoctrination. Why do we still have in 2024 debates, arguments, chicanery about the value of animals, about their true value, and why we keep on fucking putting prices onto their lives? And I'm gonna be bold about it. If the vegan were really believing in what they were doing, there would be no aggression, no violence, no treating names. There would be smarter, because this is not about us. It is not about our how do you call that, your reputation. It's not about being accepted. It's about doing the right thing. And sadly, We're confronted with childish, grown-ass people. We have to deal with them. You know, I'm sure you have already seen this meme and on veganism, and you see two vegans talking together. There are like philosophers, and then you have a vegan explaining veganism to meat eaters, and it's the picture of a woman trying to explain something to a toddler. This is what we're confronted with, and it comes from both sides. We are not ready to get on the same page. Most people are afraid of the responsibility that are attached to it and the morality behind it, because people are moral relativists. We have to be really honest about this. We cannot and we will not have freedom if this part is not healed, if this reconciliation about the value of animals and the relationship that we have with each other must be acknowledged for everyone. If people really wanted to change the condition of slavery, there would be people actually doing it and not just talking about it, not just talking about it on the internet like we do. It's not a solution that is viable at long length. We have to get responsible and being responsible for our words and our actions. This is the basic of everything. Self-respect, self-discovery, the knowledge of natural law. This is nature's message to us. If we do something, there's consequences that's gonna come with it. Whether it's bad, whether it's immoral or moral, there's going to be consequences to it. I don't want to talk too much and take your time, people, but I wanted to be sure that even if there's people who I know will stumble upon your work, and I know there's people who don't like you, I don't care about that. I'm not about that. I'm about fucking putting unity and trying to get people together on the same page. I don't care about what they think. I don't care if it hurts their feelings. I just want to get people together on the same page. And in this case, it's about freedom. It's about freedom for us. It's about freedom for the animal kingdom. Our brothers and sisters, they're valuable, precious beings. We don't have this right. We never had it. Never. Because it's based on violence. So it's illegitimate. So it's immoral. We cannot justify these actions ever.
Yeah, absolutely right. But I'd also like to add, like, we can't have freedom if we enslave them either, because we're like endorsing slavery on a planet we live on. How are we ever going to fight for our own freedom when we, advocate for the slavery of others?
As above, so below. It's only that people are projecting what they are inside.
Yeah, I was actually a victim of that online recently. I don't know if you saw it, but there was a meme going around where I was eating at a vegan Ethiopian restaurant. And somebody made an unappetizing meme out of it.
What was the meme? The jar?
Oh, I was wearing a "Doesn't Suck Being Vegan" shirt, and somebody made.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
Oh, that was you! Holy crap!
Yeah.
The how's it suck to be vegan, guys, on my show, huh? That's hilarious. Yeah. So tell me the whole story with that.
I'm not sure how it started.
I'm kind of confused about what happened. Yeah.
I posted a picture in a group on Facebook of me eating at an vegan Ethiopian restaurant, and somebody made that meme out of it.
Like a carnist did, and was like, "Oh, trying to poke fun at you for some reason because you're eating Ethiopian food, which is bomb."
Yeah.
That's
I remember
crazy.
exactly what I was eating. They even labeled the glass of water I had at my table as soy.
Soy water.
Soy water.
Vegans love soy water. Everyone knows that.
No, have you noticed that the carnists can't, like, they can't, they always have to make something up. It's always something fictitious. It's never anything real. I started an Instagram page for memes called Carnists Can't Meme. They can't, man. They really can't. Their memes are terrible. Like, and I'm being unbiased because I'm a connoisseur of memes. Like, Carnist memes are awful. Like, none of them, like, I think I've laughed at one Carnist meme ever, and that's like not doing really good. But they just fall flat, or they're just they have to make something up that's not real. Like, it's so weird. Like, didn't they, like, someone like drew a picture of your I feel like they took your picture and then drew a picture of it and like changed it, right?
I think that's what they did.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people arguing over that post or that meme in like over the weeks, you know, like it was kind of crazy. But yeah, they can't do anything, and it's like, however they're able to, they're trying to make fun of you. We can find so many examples of carnists doing everything in the world, you know, like that's why I don't like, they don't think, they're like, oh, I probably shouldn't make fun of this person because my team does the same thing, you know, like, but way worse, probably, you know.
Yeah, I thought I would mention about the meme.
That's hilarious. I'm sorry that happened to you, but we got your back. You're always safe here.
Living Vegan Logic actually made a response to that meme.
Good. Okay. Maybe I know I saw a lot about it. So I think and he's one of the best we have right now. I mean, we got a lot of, I can't even say he's the best because we got a bunch of the vegans now are next level with their knowledge, like today, these days. Like, it's pretty wild and impressive, and you know, kind of brings a tear to my eye how good everyone's arguments are getting over time, because we're all helping each other. You know, like when me and Allie did a couple debates against Garland Farms, we had, you know, vegans from the UK hitting us up, like Chris Hines and shit, just like, hey man, I got a good argument that'll help you with that debate you have. And he had like one of the most pinnacle bits of information. We went back and had two debates with this farmer and destroyed him. But we just, you know, we were just missing, like, we had this concept. We had to figure out how to break this idea that this farmer had. And Chris just came up and he's all, co-product, bro. That's a co-product. That's not a byproduct. And we were like, oh my God. Like we just, you know, it takes a lot of people to formulate these really good arguments over time, and they just keep getting better. And that's kind of why I've been doing the show, is to get, you know, like the crew of guys that I have come up on this show on the regular are like, no one can beat us at anything, any of these arguments of either health or morality or anything having to do with veganism. Like we all spit fire up here, and no one, you know, and we know this because no carnists are coming up here lining up to debate us, you know. And like the carnists that I've debated, you know, have literally left YouTube, changed their whole thing, you know, because it's like, dude, these guys don't ever talk to vegans really, or they talk to vegans that don't know that aren't articulate in any way. And so when they get up against someone, they're just like, oh God, like this person's just smashing all these arguments I've used against vegans for as long as I've known vegans have existed. And it's like, and it's mostly truthers that are actually like smarter, supposedly, than everyone else. And then you point out that they're using statist logic and slaver logic against, you know, you're like, hello, you're supposed to be better than this. Like, you guys, like, how are you not seeing that what government you're doing to animals, what government is doing to us? I don't understand how you aren't making that connection here, but they do make the connection. And that's why I keep doing this, is because as long as we're up there telling these guys breaking these stereotypes that these guys have made. You know, like it doesn't matter whether or not they're like, if you say something good, it's gonna stick in their head because they're gonna be like, shit, that makes a lot of sense, whether they like it or not. Whether like I never look for a reaction from any of these guys instantly. It's like you just need to say good stuff, and one day, you know, when they're in the doctor's office getting told that they have, you know, they might need bypass surgery or something like that, they're gonna be all, that fucker was right. You know, and maybe they might have listened a little bit along the way and picked up a little bit more good information, you know, about how to reverse the problem that they're having, or you know, like having, you know, especially with the moral stuff, like, because none of these guys, you know, it's all these moral relativists that are just, no, animals are here for me to eat, you know, and it's just like, really, like, okay.
Well, you know, it can be worse. You know, you can get these fucking retarded bacon jokes, and I mean, I'm fucking mind blown by the lack of fucking logic behind it, and you know, I appreciate your work, brother. I appreciate your work, and I appreciate what you're doing, because you're doing something that most of us cannot fucking do, and it's being open to have a conversation, a debate, or an argument. And this is what we fucking sorely needs in this, and we have to burst these fucking echo chambers out of their miseries. We are there's some people who are nourishing this ideology, and the ideology that people are fucking regurgitating, you know, and it's very important to be objective on this matter, and being very truthful about this. I mean, this is a crucial and very important matter. There's no way I can see any separation between what we're interpret as freedom and their freedom. There's no separation, and I want to impress upon this knowledge, about this truth. This is not an option. This is not a choice. It never was a choice. Now we need to get our heads out of our asses, and being truthful about that. And if people who are eating meat, at least be honest, you know, being honest about it. And what can I do? What is the first thing that we can do?
I can't believe I brought this up to Allie the other day. I never come across any carnists that I just don't care, you know, or like, or they're never honest about, okay, I could see that. No, I see that this is bad, yet I'm not, you know, good enough to stop myself at doing it. Like, I never hear people like admitting to it being bad. Like, okay, I eat meat. I know it's bad, but like, I just can't do it on my own. They all have to defend it as if it's something that's right, you know. And it's shocking that I come across so many carnists, and none of them do that ever. Like, I've never. I think someone may have said something along those lines the other day, and I was all, whoa, look at this guy actually is being honest here. You know, it's like, how little of these dudes are even honest about it, or even willing to be honest and just be like, yeah, it's fucked up, but you know, I continue doing it. And that's like the whole Ben Shapiro. Someone was mentioning that the kid earlier was using all these Ben Shapiro arguments because Ben Shapiro admits that he's a hypocrite for eating meat, and that he thinks that we're all going to pay someday because of what we did now, and has some pretty juicy, but you know, hypocritical positions on carnism, which I was pretty surprised to hear. But that kid earlier that we were listening to, he was using those same arguments. The whole, oh, once we get lab grown meat, then I'll be down to go vegan. Then it's like these dudes either have information from their uncles, or some YouTuber that said something in passing, or Ted Nugent talking about crop deaths, you know, and like completely lying to people about crop deaths, and that's all they have. and you press them on it at all. Well, what do you mean by that? How do you actually feel about it? Oh, I don't know, and they just disappear. I mean, John Bob argues endlessly with these guys and they all just disappear, like they don't have anything beyond this initial statement they have. And that's like most people with politics. They don't know. They only know what their grandpa or their uncle told them once. And they repeat these old stupid things, these wives' tales. It's this furthering of this cycle of this stupid tradition that we're just like, it's insane. But
I mean,
the whole subsidies. Yeah. Learning about the subsidies and learning how how the non-aggression principle was in line with veganism. It made it very easy to go back to veganism, along with my already vegan guilt that I had of once being a big activist.
The basis of that is that these people, and I don't want to separate myself from them because we're all one. But what I mean is that this religion that we call carnism is the foundation of this is family. You have the influence of fathers and mothers because they don't know what they need to know to be moral. So this is a intergenerational mind control. They don't ask you if you would like to have dead animals. They're going to show it to you and you're going to eat it, and they're not asking for your consent. My children, as an example, I told them the whole truth. I told them, you cannot eat meat here because we are respecting animal life. Because meat comes from murdered animal into factories or farms. Do you like animals? Sure, children will all say, yes, we do like animals. But the people who are raising their children into carnism, there's this disconnection. This is the lack of connection between knowledge and belief and intergenerational mind control. We have a whole can of worm to open. It's not done. We're not finished with it. It's going to be a lifelong hard work. This is what truth deserves: respect. And these truth communities, they don't have that. They don't like themselves. They're self-loathing. They do not respect their brothers and sisters. They cannot have an argument for shit. They're avoiding any conflicts. They're not truthers. They want only their own freedom. There's no agape love there. It's selfish love.
Yes.
We are not tooled enough. We don't have the tool as communities because we cannot even fucking communicate with each other in truthful manner and being honest. So the work is to build the freedom community, if I can quote it, because I've been exposing them for years now. I mean, this is an incredible work. Just that is fucking hours of exposing these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, when you eat animals, you're putting your body in panic mode, fight or flight.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get along with anyone around you when you're eating meat. And so you have cities full of people eating meat, not getting along. And, we have the problems we have now. Just like psychopathic waste and mass immorality. A whole city's full of Satanists just consuming and killing everything around them.
The lion, they eat meat, all these fucking worthless justification.
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
the
lions,
thinking, people?
Yeah. I had a guy tell me 5 years ago on YouTube that I was going to deteriorate from being vegan.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of fucking clowns out there. They're not representing me or anybody. You know, there's asshole meat eater and there's asshole vegans out there. There's fucking retarded people all around. You know, social media is actually the dumpster fire of the internet. This is where, you know, you can see in all this beauty, this fucking retardation that we're swimming in. You know, this lack of self-awareness, this self-responsibility, and taking responsibility for what you do and what you say.
Yeah, man. I agree. Yeah,
Anyway,
like I started this off with.
Jeffrey,
go ahead.
I need to go, brother. It's getting late here. Thank you so much for having me, man. It was a pleasure to be there.
Yeah, no problem. Let's do your podcast soon too, because I definitely
we
want
gotta
to
prepare something. You know, it's gonna be.
give me a call whenever I'm back and ready to rock now.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Cool, man. Catch you later.
Yeah, I love being vegan.
Good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah. I actually know a family where they have 3 generations of vegans, and the youngest has never ate animal products in his life.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
What part of the country are you in?
I live in the Midwest. I live in southeastern Ohio.
Wow. You found
And I
that.
can
Wow.
I can do vegan here pretty easily, so
In Ohio. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to be vegan easy anywhere in the USA, that's for sure. Or even abroad. It's like bread, rice, vegetables, beans, fruit. Like you find that everywhere, pretty much. You know,
Exactly.
some places you can't get good fruit. But yeah. What do you think of the whole Gojira thing at the Olympics?
I don't really follow the Olympics.
Did you see the performance Gojira had?
No.
It was pretty rad, actually.
Nice.
It was weird to see truthers get bent out of shape about a performance piece about beheading the government. I was a little confused by that. They're like, it's satanic, and it's like, no, I don't think so. Like, that's not satanic. You're satanic. That was pretty cool, actually.
I would say
But yeah,
government is satanic. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say that the government's a satanic organization. I mean, it's literally organized slavery.
Of course.
Yeah.
Or it's organized Satanism, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really fund all the worst things in the world if you think about it. You know, they subsidize all these industries. They're literally trying to cause death and destruction. They couldn't do it better. Like, there's no way they accidentally do all this well. You know?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, who does well?
What are you loading here, brother? What's this?
Oh no, I'm just reloading it. It's not turning on.
Oh. Yeah. Speaking of young Christians, there's actually, I learned about this from Vegan Black Metal Chef. There's a Seventh-day Adventist church in Orlando that has a vegan grocery store in their basement.
What?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. If you get to Columbus, Ohio, there's a Buddhist temple with the same thing.
That's cool. Yeah, we used to go to. They're everywhere. Buddhists are everywhere, man.
I did.
We used to go eat at the Krishna temple. They use a little bit of ghee sometimes, but most of the Krishna food was vegan.
Yeah. There was a sign outside there's a sign outside a restaurant in Brownsville, West Virginia. That's a Krishna temple. It says no meat, fish, eggs, smoking, or pawn.
Oh wow, interesting. So I was when in the 90s when I was vegan, I was part of it was kind of like a music thing, a vegan straight edge thing that had come from that had like cross pollinated with a lot of Krishnas. So there was like Krishna metal bands and hardcore bands, and that's how I found veganism. It was through Earth Crisis and some bands that were like Krishna hardcore bands from back in the day that were like hardcore vegans.
That's actually how I found veganism, was from music.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Do you know Chris Hines?
No.
Chris Hines is a badass from the UK. He's doing a documentary about veganism and music.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, he's like a old hardcore kid like me. Actually, he's a ska kid, but he likes all the music. But he's doing a really cool documentary. He's interviewing like tons and tons and tons of musicians from like Propagandy to like hardcore bands and like pop bands, like it just any band that had vegan members or vegan lyrics or anything like that. It's pretty cool.
It's called Taking Note.
Taking Note. It's not out yet.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Chris Hines is his name. He's also one of the nicest dudes in the world. We've had him on the show before. He's due to come back on for sure. So this was a pretty interesting Joey Carbstrong video. It seemed like this pretty smart family sent their kid to try and destroy Joey Carbstrong with his vegan argument. And he's a Christian kid, so it's kind of an interesting conversation.
And that's mum? Yeah. Okay, cool. Why aren't you vegan? Tell me.
I've been raised to eat meat, so I just do. I never really thought about the moral aspect of it, if you would.
Okay.
If you could say it like that.
Okay, would you like to know why I'm vegan?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. I'm vegan because I don't want to support the violation of the rights of animals who are also sentient.
Yeah.
So when I say sentient, I mean like having this experience that we're having where you feel consciousness, a subject, so an individual having that conscious experience as well. Those things all matter to me morally. And the animals that are exploited and murdered for eggs, dairy, leather, entertainment, food, those are all sentient beings, yeah?
Yes.
For those reasons, I don't want to put into demand them living a life of hell and or being murdered for their bodies or what comes out of their bodies. I don't want to put that into demand, so I boycott that demand and I live a vegan lifestyle.
You're more of like on the ethical side.
Which is what veganism is.
Okay. So what would you say to someone to try to convince them?
That's a very good question, mate. Do you care about the experiences of other animals?
I would say to some extent, because I feel like we should treat them like beings. The difference between us and them is that they're sentient and we're sapient. I believe that's how you call it, where they can rationalize reality like we can. We can think about what we are, who we are, and we can question that. And that's the difference between animals and humans. And that
certain animals, so I wouldn't be so sure about like elephants and like gorillas and that. And I don't know if I can empirically claim that a pig, given enough time, a mirror, would not start to have some trivial questioning of what they are, who they are. If they met a dog, they had some robust experience. So I don't know if I can confidently say that, but I understand what you're saying. We have a much deeper level of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it's not necessarily wrong to kill him. Now, I'm no offense, but like that's their consciousness. We value the human consciousness because it's much more deeper than an animal consciousness. And do you believe in evolution?
Yeah, I mean, I believe science is accurate. So
essentially, what we are, if you believe in evolution, we're just stardust that evolved into higher intelligence because I don't know how
so my question to you would be, based on evolution, at what point in the evolutionary chain would it be okay to kill humans? Neanderthal?
When we are able to rationalize reality, like articulate reality.
So Neanderthals okay to mass kill and eat?
Were they as aware as we were?
Probably not, no. Probably about as much as like a chimpanzee or something, I don't know.
I don't
but
know.
At what point then? So we can go further back and we can get one of those little diagrams.
Yes.
At what point is it okay to kill a human down their evolutionary line for food?
That's a good question. Well, for food,
the reason we kill animals is
good argument.
Not because we are doing it to survive. We're doing it for a food choice.
Oh, okay.
Like we got plant foods, vegan burgers, vegan this, vegan that, and people still want to kill the animals when we have choice. So at what point in the evolutionary chain of humans, at what point is it okay to mass kill that being for food? Just before they have this intelligent, this sapience, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so a little bit further down our evolutionary chain, it's okay to mass kill us for trivial reasons like pleasure, bacon.
Well, this would be a hypothetical because what would kill us if we were at the top of the food chain? Because we're the most powerful being here. So I don't see what could
So does that justify what we do
No.
for lesser beings?
I don't think so.
So why would you bring that up, sorry? Because when we're talking about ethics and we're talking about rights, it doesn't matter who's more powerful, like what the powerful group
Busted.
is, or like obviously like Jews were the minority in Nazi Germany. I mean, it doesn't justify because Germans were the power group in that situation that might makes right there. It's not the same thing. I'm just saying like, but for us, we're the powerful group over the animals. It doesn't justify what we do to them for like bacon or like trivial products.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Think of like human beings and children. Like a baby's not even sapient. We can't just make a farm where we only grow babies to the point where they're just about to reach sapience, and then just before that, kill them and burger them. True.
Yeah.
Would you be for that?
No, absolutely not.
And why not? Because you said it's okay in the animal context. In the human context, you're completely against it, right?
Yes, I mean, right now I don't think I'm being intellectually honest.
Okay.
I think I might be tripping over what I believe in. So
okay,
I see where you're trying to get at, where you say because we value the human consciousness over the one of the animals, then it's almost the same thing because.
So basically, this is what I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm just trying to find consistency in your beliefs, right? You said it's sapience. I removed sapience from the human, like just create a little hypothetical to test whether it was sapience that you cared about. And it actually isn't. It's something else. It's something else, I think. And
I think maybe it's just because we're human.
And you might favor your own species more than other species.
Exactly. I think that's part of evolution.
Yeah, and I could favor, well, I don't do this because I'm not a racist, but people favor their own race over other races. And they might use that as a justification to harm another minority race.
Yes.
I'm saying, is that a moral justification for us because we favor our species to do this to other beings who have a conscious experience, not to the level of a human being, but to a level enough to suffer, feel pain, have desires, want to live?
Would you say that animals have desires?
Yeah, 100%. They have desires within desires.
Okay.
Right, they have the desire, I'm going to wait here for my owner to bring in food at this time, and then I'm going to eat the food. They make decisions all the time. They pre-plan, they prepare. If you abuse an animal, they'll remember that.
Yes.
And they'll be afraid of humans. And same with farmed animals. They're just like dogs, really. They develop their own personalities. Some are like shy, some are grumpy, some are tired. They all have their own unique personalities. We've been conditioned to be like, they're just food, they're just robots, they're just meat robots. But that's actually just propaganda. It's not the case. They don't want you to believe that these animals' lives
matter.
Because otherwise it's harder for them to sell. I'm sounding pretty conspiratorial at the moment, eh? They don't want you to believe. But you got to remember, this is a massive industry off the back of this. They're making money off their bodies, selling to people like yourself, your parents, things like this. It's an industry. They are just meat animals. They don't matter. So you don't feel uncomfortable with eating them. So they have, you asked me if they have desires, and then I got
right in front of his parents.
That was kind of a stupid question because obviously they have desires, but I would say ambitions like we do. Like we want to make a change in the world. We want yeah, I would like to make a change in the world if I can.
You can.
I can. I can make a difference.
So basically, but if there was a human being who was incapacitated because of the way they were born, they've been born not to the same privileges as us, somehow disabled, that person will never have the same ambitions as myself or as Elon Musk. Does that justify violating their rights?
No, but
okay, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a justification.
This kid's pretty smart.
Why do you think we think that way? Why do we value?
He at least sees the stupidity of the arguments as they're represented back to him. He's all like, "Okay, that's dumb. Okay, that's dumb." Like
the human conscious experience rather than the animal experience.
We think we are superior. which we are in many ways, but then we use that superiority in order to justify atrocities. I think there's multiple different factors here, right? When you're eating animals, you're much more likely to downgrade their experience in your mind. You lessen their experience and lessen their consciousness in your mind in order to justify
it.
They're dumb animals. Chickens are dumb animals. They don't feel this. So it's like an unconscious like dumbing down of the animal in your mind, so that makes it easier to continue that behavior. And they've actually done research on this. They've done studies on this. Another thing is that there might be religious connotations to the reason why people inherently think that we're special, we're put here by God, we're made in God's image. These reasons that animals are here to serve us, we've got dominion over them, right?
What would your argument be towards people who have a religion?
What religion do you follow?
Christianity, but I don't necessarily.
Do you believe Jesus is God?
Sure, yeah.
The God that you follow in Christianity,
yes,
believes eating meat is evil.
I actually believe you on that, because in the beginning of when the earth was created, we just ate fruits and plants.
Thank you. The Garden of Eden was vegan.
Yes.
And when did we start eating animals? On the fall of man?
We
when
started sinning. And then in heaven, we are only going to have a plant-based diet.
So Genesis 1:29, and then you got Isaiah 11:6.
I wouldn't know. I'm getting tired.
And the wolf will dwell with the lamb, and the leopard will lay down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little boy will lead them. Here's another version here. The wolf and the lamb shall graze together. The lion shall eat straw like the ox, and dust shall be the serpent's food. Thou shalt do no evil or harm in my holy mountain, says the Lord. Do no evil. Animals eating other animals is evil?
Yes.
And the perfect paradise was vegan to begin with. And it was only till the fall of man. Now, I'm just saying being vegan is consistent with every religion. And it's the most compassionate choice. It causes the least amount of suffering, the least amount of rights violations. God created these animals to have a conscious experience, right?
Yes.
Right? Whatever anyone says about religion and eating meat, there is no way that what we are doing now is anywhere close to God's creation. It's destroying God's creation. We've got factory farms. They've been selectively bred into freak shows. They're suffering just by nature of existing, right? And mass killed for people's trivial. We have a bite, roll it in the bin. You know, this is nothing close to what. Anything
Have a bite.
close to God, right?
Yes.
And anyway, God thinks eating meat is evil because He said there'll be no evil done on my mountain. When He was talking about animals eating each other. So.
I see. All right.
So are you actually a Christian, or do you just have like some Christian beliefs, or you're brought up in a Christian family, or?
No, I do.
Parents are stepping in. He's all, I'm actually a stupid kid. Never mind.
Veganism. Okay. I don't want to like offend you or anything because I eat meat. I think we're just brought up like that.
Yeah. So was I.
So I'm still learning. Yeah.
Oh, he's a bright lad. Very bright. Very intelligent.
Yeah. So that backfired for that family. They thought he was going to go up there and whoop his ass. It's pretty funny. Parents, oh, he's still learning. No, don't teach him too much. Don't turn him against us. It's hilarious.
No kid wants to be outsmarted for 15 minutes straight. That kid's going to be smarter following this day, I bet. Might keep the
for
bad.
Sure. He already understands. He already saw the Bible connection that like, no, you know, like, so it's like, dude, that's why I think his parents are all, holy crap, he's agreeing with him too much. We got to pull this kid out.
That's
Joey's
hilarious.
Joey's a decent activist.
Yeah, he's a beast.
What else
He
we
can
got?
phrase things really well. I saw a video of him today. They were tried questioning him on, I don't know, it's like a talk show or something. And they asked him about, well, don't you think it's extreme? And he said, don't you think it's extreme to take cows' children and macerate chickens and gas pigs? And the way he said it was just
Yeah. No, as any of us would say, and if put in that position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, everything they do is extreme, you know, like insanity. But it's getting late, brother, so I'm gonna hop out.
Yeah, man. Good seeing you again.
Thank you for having me, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah. All right. Peace. Catch you guys next week. See ya. Watch I got other videos and stuff coming out. We got a bunch of stuff we're
backed up on.
we're backed up on. So
we'll be working on.
we're gonna be playing Fallout New Vegas as Mark Passio.
Natural
Law playthrough. I got a couple videos I'm working on, but everything's backed up. I've had those things up on my YouTube for a while, so I got to get them done. But we're back in business. The fire's gone. Life has fallen out of chaos, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.